Hey my fellow home bakers, today we are making a rich chocolate pound cake with chocolate mascarpone frosting and a customized fondant logo. I will show you how to apply this technique so you can create any design you like, whether it's for a special event, a business or just for fun. Let's get baking. To make the best ever chocolate pound cake, we need to bring out the maximum chocolate flavor from the cocoa powder. What we need to do is to mix it with boiling hot water in a bowl and stir until fully dissolved. Set it aside to cool before using. In a large mixing bowl, sieve in cake flour, baking powder, and salt to break up any clumps and aerate the mixture. Give them a good mix to ensure they are evenly distributed. Add in unsalted butter to the mixing bowl and beat it at medium speed until light and fluffy. Then add in sugar and continue to beat until the mixture turns pale and creamy. Now add the eggs, one at a time, giving 10 to 20 seconds between each to ensure each is fully incorporated. This helps prevent curdling and creates a smooth, stable batter for a better cake texture. Once all the eggs are mixed in, add vanilla extract to enhance the flavor of the cake. Yes, we add vanilla extract to the chocolate cake. It helps to bring out the richness of the chocolate, making the chocolate flavor more pronounced and well-rounded. Feel free to stop the mixer at any time and scrape down the sides and bottom of the bowl to make sure everything is well combined. Give it a quick mix before adding the next ingredient. Mix in the cooled cocoa mixture, making sure it is cooled, not hot, otherwise it could cause the batter to curdle or become lumpy, which you want to avoid for a smooth, consistent texture. We are now adding the flour mixture and milk alternately, ending with the flour, making sure the dry ingredients are fully blended. Give around 30 seconds in between to ensure each addition is fully absorbed into the batter. When it's done, the texture should be smooth, thick, and slightly fluffy with no lumps or any dry spots. To ensure 2 even layers, I weigh the batter and divide it evenly between 2 lined baking pans. But if you are not too picky, you can eyeball it. Either way, they will be delicious. Then use an offset spatula to smooth out the surface. It helps create an even layer of batter, ensuring consistent baking and a more polished, professional-looking cake. When you are happy with them, bake in a preheated oven at 160 degrees Celsius for about 30 to 35 minutes or until an inserted skewer comes out clean. When they are done, remove them from the oven and let them sit in the pan for about 15 minutes to settle. It allows them to firm up slightly, which helps maintain their structure. If you remove the cake too soon, they might be too soft and could break. Now you can remove the cakes from the pans and cool completely on a wire rack. The cakes are beautifully done. Now let's move on to preparing the frosting. Sieve icing sugar, cocoa powder, and salt into a mixing bowl. Then give them a good stir to make sure everything is well combined. Add vanilla extract to the chilled double cream to enhance the overall flavor. Beat the chilled mascarpone cheese at medium speed for about 30 seconds until it becomes slightly fluffy. After that, add the cocoa powder mixture. I like to use a silicone spatula to gently mix it in first to prevent the cocoa powder from flying everywhere. Just like this. Then continue to beat until the mixture is well incorporated. Once everything comes together, now add the vanilla-infused double cream and beat until smooth, light and fluffy, just like chocolate ice cream. Your frosting should now be smooth and spreadable, smells super chocolatey and tastes absolutely delicious. The cakes are cooled and the frosting is ready. Let's frost the cake. Before we start, you will need the following tools to frost the cake properly. In my opinion, you don't have to have a turntable, but it will definitely make the whole process easier and smoother. To achieve a professional look, we will trim off the dome of the cake to create a flat surface. Spread a small amount of frosting on the cake board to help stick the cake in place. Hold the knife horizontally and keep it steady as you turn the cake. Trim off the top to level it. Take your time, especially if this is your first time, to make small adjustments as needed. When you reach the cutting point, continue slicing across the center. The top should come off easily. Repeat the same process for the second layer. Save the trimmed cake for making cake pops or just eat it. It's incredibly delicious. The cakes are leveled. Now let's stack them together. Scoop enough frosting on the first layer and use an offset spatula to spread it as even as possible. Place the second cake layer upside down on top. Make sure it's perfectly aligned to create a straight line. The flat bottom of the cake will help create a smooth surface. Once you are happy with it, scoop just enough frosting on top and smooth it out across the surface. Then gradually spread the excess frosting towards the edges, covering the cake with a thin layer of frosting. Add more frosting if needed. The goal here is to seal the crumbs, fill all the gaps, and hide any imperfections. Once the whole cake is sealed, use a dough scraper to gently remove any excess frosting from the sides. Then use an offset spatula to clean up the edges by gliding from the edges towards the center. Remember to clean the spatula after each glide for a clean finish. Now we have a neat and well-sealed cake, ready for the final coat. Then place the cake in the refrigerator to chill until the frosting is firm to touch. For this step, it's extremely helpful to have everything prepared. A well-chilled cake set on the turntable, mascarpone frosting in a piping bag, an offset spatula, a dough scraper, and a bowl nearby for easy cleanup. Start by piping a layer of frosting on top of the cake. Gradually spread it into an even layer using an offset spatula, pushing any excess frosting towards the sides as well. The goal here is to cover the entire cake with frosting and add more as needed. Once the cake is covered, take the dough scraper and hold it at 45-degree angle to the side of the cake. With a very light hand, sweep it smoothly along the side. When you reach the corner, gently pull the frosting away from the cake to create a clean edge. Then make sure the dough scraper has a clean surface for the next sweep. If there are any holes or imperfections, spread a little more and smooth it again with the dough scraper. Remember, frosting the cake to perfection takes practice and time, but I promise if you do it again and again, you will get there. Even if it's not perfectly smooth, the cake will still taste amazing, won't it? Now the sides are looking pretty good to me. We now can smooth out the top. Take the offset spatula and glide it over the top of the cake, starting from the edge and moving towards the center. That's it. Once you are happy with the finish, chill the cake for around 60 minutes to set before moving on to the next step. To make the ganache, add the dark chocolate to the double cream. Here is the pro tip. The chocolate should not be anything darker than 51 or 2%. It may not work. In my experience, it doesn't always create the right consistency. Then microwave them for 20 seconds. Stir them well, then heat in 5-second bursts 3 times until smooth. Load it into a piping bag and be mindful, don't cut the hole too big or the drips will turn out thick and chunky. To ensure the ganache has the right consistencies before applying it to the cake, test it in a bowl to see if it stops after a few seconds. Of course, we don't want it to run all the way down or just sit at the top. You can start by squeezing it all around the edges. You can do different amounts as you go, so your drips will have different heights. For this part, you will need a cutting mat, fondant. Here I have some white fondant. A dusting cup is handy for evenly distributing icing sugar, but sprinkling works too. A paper template that I sized correctly, printed and cut out. A rolling pin, and a cutter. For food safety, use this only for fondant, not for other purposes. Take some fondant from the package and wrap it well to keep the rest from drying out. Knead it for about 1 to 2 minutes until it becomes smooth and pliable. Then roll it out to your desired thickness. I prefer it a bit thicker to make the design stand out. I can say it's between 4 and 6 millimeters. Try to roll it as evenly as possible to achieve a neat and professional look. Place the template on the rolled fondant and cut carefully without pressing too hard to avoid indentations. If this is your first time, I recommend starting with designs that have straight lines. They are much easier to handle than ones with curved edges. Just like with these two letters, D and W, cutting out the D is slightly trickier than the W, obviously. Once cut, gently smooth the edges with your finger and adjust the shapes as needed. As you can see, apart from the white, I will need different colors for fondant to create the rest of the logo. Since I don't need a lot, I dye the fondant using gel food coloring and let them sit overnight to settle before using them. I wrote each color slightly thinner than the white for the letters and used an open piping tip to cut out tiny circles, as many as I needed. When all the components are ready, it's time to bring everything together. To stick the fondant pieces together, brush a tiny bit of water on the back to create a tacky surface. I can say this is the most satisfying part, seeing the design or taking something from paper and transforming it into a fondant creation. I love seeing it come to life. I hope you enjoy watching it as much as I enjoy creating it. Have you ever worked with fondant before, or is this your first time? Let me know in the comments below. And that's it. Our cake is beautifully decorated and ready to impress. I think as a baker, nothing is more fulfilling than seeing your cake as the centerpiece of a celebration, with everyone gathered around, joyfully cutting into it and enjoying every bite. It's a beautiful moment that makes all the efforts worthwhile. Alright, if you are a chocolate lover, I hope you will give this recipe a try. Click the link in the descriptions below for the full recipe. I'm sure you won't be disappointed. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and share this recipe with your fellow home bakers. Make sure to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so you won't miss any upcoming videos. If you love chocolate as much as I do, I'm so excited for you to try this recipe. Click on the screen now to watch it. See you next time. Bye.